All right, welcome back to Horn Takes, your Texas football and baseball talk destination. I am Sean Redfern. It is Monday, folks. I usually do drunk thoughts on Sunday, but I was whipped yesterday, y'all. We had a great weekend down in Dallas, over in Dallas. Had a nice 4.5, 5 hour drive home yesterday morning / afternoon. So I was just too tired to do drunk thoughts, man. I actually sit down and started like going through it, writing them out. I have them on my phone. I was sitting there taking notes at the game, and I transcribe them to a Word document on my computer, so I have a little outline. So that's what I kind of did yesterday afternoon, and I just was like, man, we'll just go Monday. And I know it's a short week because we're leaving Friday morning to head down to Austin for this Georgia and Texas game. Super excited about that. But we'll get 5 shows in, guarantee it, unless something crazy happens. Check us out on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. If you just like to listen to podcasts, you can get us on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You can go to horntakespodcast.buzzsprout.com, find all the podcast episodes as well. Without further ado, let's get drunk Sean thoughts from the Red River Shootout. Feels great to be 6-0. First time since 2009. All Texas goals still very much intact. Very much intact. One of 2 undefeated SEC teams left in conference. The only undefeated team in the country in the SEC. So everything is right out in front of this Texas Longhorn football team. All they got to do, just keep taking care of business every week. It is always good to beat the Sooners. If y'all haven't figured out, I love the Red River Shootout. I've been talking about it for 2 weeks. Y'all are probably sick of hearing about it. But I had a bye week, man, so I had nothing else to talk about but the Red River Shootout. It won't always be that way. So we had guests, man. We did a lot of content on the Red River Shootout, which is by far 100% without a doubt the best rivalry in all of college sports. Isaiah Bond's mom tweeted out the other day, now that I've been to the Red River Shootout, ain't nothing holds a cake. And I'm paraphrasing. And it's a candle anyway. It's not a cake. Nothing holds a candle to the Red River Shootout is basically what Isaiah Bond's mom says. And she's been to a lot of rivalries. She was at a damn Iron Bowl where her son caught the game-winning touchdown on 4th and 3 billion. And she still knows the Red River Shootout is better than the Iron Bowl. So it's always good to win this game. Bragging rights for a year. You don't have to be miserable for a year. You don't have to listen to those stupid Sooners for a year. But absolutely dominating them the way Texas dominated the Sooners on Saturday is just all that much better. Good to see some old friends. Good to meet some new friends. It's always cool to me. We go to this Red River Shootout every year. And we used to live down near Austin. And so we used to do quite a bit of tailgating. We know a lot of folks down there. We don't stay in touch with them all that much. You know, we'll check in. You got them on Facebook, so you see like little updates and things like. But we don't stay really connected to most of these folks. So we don't make plans to find each other at all whatsoever. But we kind of had 2 run-ins this week. Well, we got to spend the weekend with a really good friend of ours that we haven't seen in a long time. She sat with us at the game, her and her son, so that was a great time. Then we're standing there on Saturday waiting to go into the game, just trying to get some shade and some cool in one of the buildings. I see an old friend of mine from high school. I haven't seen her in, man, probably since high school. If I've seen her since then, it wasn't too much after high school. So I saw her, her husband, her family. So that was cool. Good to catch up with her. And then as we're coming out of the game, our friend says, I need to get this one piece of food, and I think it's right over there by Big Tex. It's like, all right, let's get it. So as we're headed out that direction, we see a bunch of old friends of ours that we've tailgated with, known for years. So it's always cool to catch up with folks that you've met before, that just to spend a few minutes catching up, celebrating. Always a good time. Pissing and moaning about the loss, maybe. Hopefully we don't have to do that very. Hopefully we're about to go on like a 50-game winning streak in this Red River Shootout. And then it's really cool, folks, to meet people that recognize you from your content. I was standing in line at Fletcher's Corny Dogs on Saturday morning, and someone says, "Hey, Sean." I'm like, well, who in the hell is that? It could be anybody. I know a lot of people. I turn around. Hey, man, I just wanted to say I love your content. I watch you on YouTube or on TikTok. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. Shook my hand, introduced himself. I wish I could have spent more time with him, and I got to apologize. I am the worst person with names on the planet. Just, I don't know why I cannot remember names for shit, especially like on a first meeting. I don't know why. I'm just bad at it. But I do remember his handle on TikTok. It's Pac-Man. So, Pac-Man, it was really nice to meet you. Hope you guys had a blast at the game. The other thing, too, like every time somebody recognized me, it's almost at the worst possible time. I'm standing there with a fistful of corn dogs. I got 2 beers coming out. I really wanted to spend some time with him, maybe shoot a video with him, put that up on TikTok, but it just didn't work out. So, Pac-Man, good to meet you. Good to meet your folks there. Watching the Sooner into the Cotton Bowl clear out before the end of that game and seeing all those long Sooner faces around the fairgrounds after the game, always a pleasure. There wasn't a whole hell of a lot of boomer Soonering going on around the fairgrounds even before the game. I think, I mean, you go into the food court, there's always the Texas fight and then the boomer Sooner shit that goes back and forth for literally, I mean, at an 11 a.m. kick, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours this is going on. For the 2:30 kick, I have no idea. I can't hang out in that food court anyway. It's too damn hot in there. I'll bust in, get some beer, get something to eat, and pop out where I can find some shade and breeze. But other than that, man, not a lot of boomer soonering going on. We certainly, as hell, did not have to listen to that stupid ass song they play after every single play because they didn't do shit in this game to worth, that was worth playing that stupid ass song. I think, man, other than 49-0, and maybe 49-0 was even. I mean, honestly, I feel like 49-0, the Sooner fans were a little more into it than this game on Saturday. Maybe the Heat played into that. Not 100% sure. I could imagine that just being miserable in that heat and losing the way they were losing. I mean, they couldn't even get a damn first down. But so that was great, man. That's one of the worst. No horns downs, and oh, I did have one lady tell me I wear this big ass like chain with a big old Longhorn medallion. I'm sure if you've gone to the games, you've seen somebody wearing them. I call it a medallion. It is definitely not a medallion. It's like foam, kind of foam, like a thicker foam, like a less porous foam. She said, "Oh, sir, your thing's upside down." I don't, man, I don't understand people. It has just never occurred to me to just randomly say something stupid like that to a perfect stranger. And maybe I am probably weird. Like we live in Lubbock, and I wear Texas shit everywhere. And I have people come up to me and just say, "We went to dinner the latest episode of this. We went to dinner a few weeks ago, and I had a Texas shirt on. We sat down at the table. Our waitress comes up. She says, "Hey, I'm so and so, and I'm gonna be waiting on you, today. And I don't like your shirt." And I was so shocked by it that I just told her I didn't care. And I feel bad because you could tell she was embarrassed and walked off pretty abruptly. My wife's like, "Oh my God, Sean, like what is wrong with you?" And I said, "I'm so sick of people just talking to me all the time about a damn shirt I'm wearing. Like I don't say shit to y'all. I have not once in my life gone up to a person wearing a shirt and said, 'Oh, you're wearing the wrong shirt,' or 'I don't like your shirt,' or 'Oh, your little thing's upside down.' I just don't get it. Maybe y'all can help me understand. It is like the weirdest fucking thing on the planet to me. I just go to games to have a good time. I think y'all can tell friends are really important. I love traveling with my wife and going to these games. I love to just drink beer, relax, have good food. Maybe not good food, but like tasty food, right? I love the games. When the game's over, I'm either really happy about the outcome or I'm really, disappointed about the outcome. But I don't understand this whole culture of like running your mouth at like people you don't even know. I'll digress. Quinn Ewers played his first bad game that I can think of since the 2022 TCU game. He just looked. I mean, I couldn't have. I think you always know somebody might be a little rusty, right? I don't know that you expect a third year guy like that to be rusty though. Not like that. I mean, he looked like a freshman again, and it wasn't just. It was like everything. His feet were happy. He was missing throws. He was missing guys to throw the ball to. Like just not seeing them. He like does not see the deep ball well at all. And the one time he did see it, just a just a colossal miss. Hopefully that was kind of nerves or I don't know. This game could have easily been 50 something to what it was. 50 something to 3. Easy. Like Texas left so many points on the field. And they've done this a lot this year. I mean, Texas has had so far through 6 games like a really outstanding, like sort of dominating season. And they have absolutely not played anywhere close to their potential for 4 quarters. That's scary for college football. Like if Texas can ever figure that out and just go play for 4 quarters, there ain't nobody in the country that can beat them. So hopefully Quinn got that rust knocked off. It was good enough to win. It wasn't terrible. It was just a really really slow start. The interception, really bad throw, but I mean, kind of like a luck type deal, man. Off the guy's hands, gets popped up. The safety catches it. I mean, again, it was a terrible throw. Those 2 throws he missed early in that game to 2 wide open guys were just really bad. And I'm sitting there going, "Holy shit. Like this is bad." We talked about this team being able to win in so many different ways and they won a game Saturday when the offense just really couldn't get anything going early on. They won it with defense. The defense was just absolutely smothering. That was the hottest Red River shootout I have ever been to. And I think more than likely it's the hottest Red River shootout that's ever happened. It was absolutely 100% completely brutal at the fairgrounds on Saturday. Friday was warm. I think it was 92, but there was a nice breeze all day on Friday. Saturday, until the game started, it was pretty dead, like from a wind perspective. There was no clouds. There was occasional clouds on Friday. There was just an infinite amount more of people at the fairgrounds on Saturday, obviously. It was rough. Once we got in the stadium, though, there was a pretty decent breeze that blue for most of the game, I think. So I mean, I don't want to do that again, but it wasn't as bad as I anticipated. I really was expecting to probably die on Saturday. But we took the appropriate measures. We had us some little we had us some little mini frog togs. My wife had her little electronic fan deal. We made sure to drink plenty of beer and hydrate before we went in. If y'all watched Great Expectations episode last week, I said I would lose something. I always do. Lost my freaking frog tog thing. I guess it blew right off my neck or someone grabbed it. I don't know. It happens every single year. Kudos to those Sooner fans for staying as long as they did. I am not sitting. I mean, that started to clear out a little bit, around the end of the third quarter, but not sort of a mass exodus until Trey Wisner ran in a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Then it cleared out. I don't know if I'm staying. I don't know if I'm staying getting beat. What was it at that point? 27-3. I don't know if I'm staying in that heat with that going on. I guess they just thought like something was going to happen that other people knew weren't going to happen. Sooner Magic, you can exit stage left, enter stage right, Longhorn Magic. Got a Texas fumble right at the goal line, recovered by Silas Bolden for a touchdown. And that was a big moment in that game. Got two Texas takeaways inside of 2 minutes at the end of the first half, leading to Texas points. And that's really where the game kind of got, I mean, if you could call it blown wide open, that's where it happened. That little stretch of few minutes right there at the end of the half. We always talk about the situational football. Texas played really well situationally on Saturday. The Cotton Bowl ran out of water and beer before the end of the second quarter. How in the hell is that even possible? Everybody on the planet saw the damn forecast. How in the world do you run out of water? Beer, okay. I mean, you don't need beer to like live if it's 95 degrees. Some might argue with that. I'll just stick with science. You don't need beer to live when it's 95 degrees, but you do need water. And I'm talking, they just flat ran out of it up in the upper deck. And I had to go at halftime. I went all the way down to the bottom of the stadium, somewhere around the 50. And I found one little sort of, I wouldn't call it a kiosk, but like a little rolling water cooler thing. All she had was White Claws. So I bought 4 White Claws. And we lived off White Claw through the third quarter. But other than that, man, I couldn't find any. And I wasn't going to walk around the whole stadium. I'm sure there were some places where there was water and beer. And I'm sure every once in a while they brought some in and it quickly got bought up. The Cotton Bowl cannot let that happen again. They got to figure out how they keep that stuff coming, because even if they were bringing water and beer, nobody wants that shit hot. Like, they got to figure out a better way. I don't know what the answer is. It's not my job to know what the answer is. All I know is you cannot run out of water at a game that hot. If you would have told me that Trey Moore, who had 14 sacks last season at UTSA, would have 0 through 6 games at Texas, And he starts, folks. I'd say you're nuts. I don't know what's going on, man. I said it a few weeks ago. He just looks almost disinterested to me, and I mean, I don't know the kid, man. Maybe that's just his. Maybe that's just how he carries himself. I don't know. I'm certainly not accusing him of being disinterested. It just looks like it to me. I mean, he just is out there. Not to start any controversy, but I think there's no way that guy should be playing ahead of Ethan Burke. And I also understand that, we rotate so many guys. I mean, these guys are not, there's not one guy that's just getting a ridiculous amount more snaps than the others. So, I mean, we're just, we're just talking for the sake of talking here. Really who starts doesn't necessarily matter. When you can rotate guys like Texas can, you're gonna keep guys fresh, and guys are gonna get a lot of snaps. But if I'm the defensive line coach or the defensive end coach, Ethan Burke's my guy going out on the field to start games. You know what's crazy? Trey Moore's getting pressure. I mean, he gets back there. He just can't get a sack. Texas ground game finally comes to life with some big plays. We've been talking about it all season. Like, what the hell is going on? Why can't they get any big plays on the ground? And this Oklahoma defense pretty good against the run. 2.6 yards per carry coming into this game. They just hadn't given up a ton of yardage either. You got to hand it to Trey Wisner. He has absolutely made the most of his opportunities the last couple weeks, and he made some big plays on Saturday. I'd like to also point out again that Trey Wisner was my dark horse pick in that recruiting class on the offensive side of the ball. Hell of a game for Texas running game to get some big plays. I'm here for it, man. If they can do that against them, they can do it against anybody. I apologize to anyone that took my dart advice. So someone, it was Pac-Man, was asking me, the guy that I met at the Cottonbowl was asking me where's the best place to park and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, there's places all over. I said, I just park at a park and ride and take the dart, man. It just gets you away. To me, it's just more enjoyable. We stay really, really close to one of the stations, and we just go hop on the train, go to the fair, leave the fair, hop on the train, and just walk into the hotel, basically. I don't know what was going on Saturday after the game, but it took us an hour and a half to get from the fairgrounds to our hotel, which is just like a handful of miles away. I mean, train ride from the hotel to the fairgrounds, maybe 10 minutes. They came on at some point, and we were sitting in one spot for at least 30 minutes. Did not move a freaking inch. They came on at one point and said there was some sort of casualty event, like someone, I don't know if they got sick. I don't know. And we certainly, you know, are sympathetic to that. But my God, I told my wife, I said, if I ever am like in a medical emergency on a train, drag my ass off the train and then work on me outside so these other people can just get on with their lives. I don't want to be the dead dude that's holding up everybody else. And I have no idea. I have no idea what it was. My wife tried to find it. I don't know if it was on our car. I don't know if it was on somebody else's train that was ahead of us. I don't know. Maybe there was I don't know, an accident ahead of it. I don't know. But 1.5 hours is like absurd. Someone replied on a Twitter post I made, an X, an X post. It took them 4 hours to get from the fairgrounds to Carrollton, Texas, which is not that far either. So that was an absolute fucking nightmare. We were piled in there like cattle. Thank God the AC worked in there really, really well. So I'll give them a check mark for having good AC. But Dallas, y'all got to get better. More trains, more people to drive them. I don't know. And the crazy thing is, we hung out at the fairgrounds for probably an hour, hour and a half after the game. So it wasn't like there was this rush. It wasn't like the rush after the game where people are just leaving. I don't know. They got to fix that. Man, I could have crawled. I'm not even kidding. I could have low crawled from the fair to my hotel faster. For any of y'all that were in the military, y'all know what a low crawl is. I could have done it faster from the fair to my hotel than I got there on a damn train. Bert Auburn, man, what a head scratcher that dude is. Keep in mind, folks, these are all just drunk Sean thoughts. There ain't no rhyme or reason to any of this shit. This is just stuff I thought about while I was watching these games. And I do it real time. I take notes. I was sitting at the Cotton Bowl, pulling my phone out, putting down notes, and I did a lot more than just these. There's some really ridiculous shit. It's funny. Drunk Sean will put stuff on the notes and then laugh at himself the next day when he goes back to read it. He's like, "Man, I really said that? Like I thought that?" It's pretty funny. Y'all should try that. I challenge everybody to do their own drunk thoughts for the Georgia game on Saturday. Just type them in your phone on a little note as you're watching the game. And then get up Sunday all refreshed. Go back and read what you typed during the game. Pretty funny stuff. Bert Auburn, I don't get it, man. He can nail a 47-yard field goal against Bama as a freshman. He's made other big field goals. Misses back-to-back attempts at 44 yards with the wind in his back. And they were the first one was short, I think. The second one, I think, was plenty of leg, but off to one side or the other, apparently. We were kind of in the corner of the end zone. So I really couldn't tell where the ball crossed. We will rewatch the game probably this afternoon. Get ready for the deep dive tomorrow. Yeah, I just don't, man, I don't know. I like Bert Auburn. I think he's made some good kicks for us, but he makes me nervous. Like if we got to kick a field goal to win a game, I'm not confident. I will be a nervous wreck. And by the way, I know he didn't miss 2 field goals. The Sooners called a timeout on the first one, and he couldn't make them pay. Usually they make them pay. I don't know. I think if you start talking about weaknesses on this team, that's got to be one of them. I don't. That's like his second or third missed field goal this season, and I know he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to kick field goals. But I don't think I'm going to go back and look. I don't think his percentage is that good at this point. We will be back on tomorrow, which is a Tuesday. And yes, I said on tomorrow. I say stupid stuff all the time. We'll have our Trace Ultra Games recap, see if we could get back to our winning ways. We were 13-2 headed into this week. We had 3 really good games to pick. Actually more probably, but I'm only picking 3 because it's called Trace Ultra Games. We'll finally put the Red River Shootout in the past. We'll have the after action review on the Red River Shootout. We're going to get Eric Henry from Horns 247 on sometime this week. I believe we got him lined up. We'll have him on Thursday's show. Talk a little Texas to this point through 6 games. Obviously, we'll talk some Texas, Georgia. See what Eric thinks about that matchup. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. Give us a subscribe. Give us a follow. Won't cost you guys a thing. We appreciate the support. You can email me at horntakespodcast@gmail.com. with all your questions, comments, concerns, and criticisms. Sure feels good to be 6-0. Sure feels good to beat those Sooners at the Red River Shootout. Now let's get ready. Let's go take on these Dogs of Georgia. You guys get hooked.